Hi, my name is Alexandria. I'm an artist local to the Kansas City area, and today I'm going to show you how I scan artwork professionally, or as professionally as I can. So here's a quick list of my supplies. I have my laptop. It's a very expensive laptop, but basically you just need a laptop or a computer. Mouse is optional. And then the scanner I'm using is this Epson Perfection V39. I got it for $100 at Best Buy. It was on sale. It's kind of cheap, which is actually pretty great because this also does really good scans. It's not perfect. It's not a professional, like, massive scanner or anything. And the biggest limiter on it is the scanning size. This is 8.5 by 12 inches. That's the only active, like, that's the biggest size you can scan. If you have anything bigger than that, you have to like Photoshop the two different scans together. I don't know, I'm not great at it, so I'm not going to go into that. But it's very simple. It just plugs in with a USB. Oh crap, did I flip it around? I did. And then it plugs straight into a computer with another USB cord. When you buy it, it's very easy to install. It takes like 3 seconds. It's great. Oh, why did I do that? I don't know how much of this I'm gonna show, but you just go into your computer, open up the program, make sure the scanner is connected. So in order to set up this scanner, I actually have 3 pieces that I'm going to scan today. They are from my Scientific Illustration Scientific Illustration distance program. So I've got some still lifes here. I've got a lemon, some acorns, and then my most recent piece that I just completed today of a pumpkin. The reason I'm rescanning all of these, I've already scanned these 2 and submitted them, but I want to save them in a TIFF format, which is it takes up a lot of memory and it's really good quality scans. So I want that for all 3 of them, and I don't think I scanned all of them in a TIFF format. Let me check my files. JPEGs will lose quality every time you move them. Oh, actually I have TIFFs for the acorns and the lemon. So I'll just show you how I scanned the pumpkin. So this is a graphite drawing. So what I did in order to seal it, because I used a lot of graphite, is I just used a workable fixative. I did 3 layers of it on this outside. It's dried now. I finished it like less than an hour ago. So that's how I preserve my graphite drawings. You can use this in a sketchbook, use it on final pieces. You can draw on top of the workable fixative, but it is hard to erase anything that you've already laid down. I've also seen people use hairspray in a quick pinch, but the workable fixative, I got this for $10. It lasts for a while, and I spray very heavily. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my scanner ready. There's a little smudge on the glass, so I'm just gonna clean that with a glasses lens wipe. That's one pro of wearing glasses. You get these like every time you buy a new pair, so I just have them like all over the place. The next thing I'm going to do, I am going to lay it out on the scanner. Down here is like the active corner, so whenever you scan something on like any printer or whatever, you can see that like shows you where you should orient the paper. So I'm going to just put this down. I don't really care about the last part of the page. This is, oh shoot, overlaps a little. Yeah, this paper that I'm using is 9.5 by 12. So I always need to be aware of that whenever I'm creating a piece. But I did decide to use this paper for my class because so it's the maximum size my scanner can hold, and that way I know I won't have to like Photoshop any of my drawings for my class. And then the one downside, well, besides the small size of this, is this lid has a slight bow in it. It's a little curved, and if you have anything in it that has any sort of texture, like when I scan my sketchbooks, I definitely have to weigh down the top. So I just use this heavy mixed media sketchbook, lay it on top so that way it's nice and flat. Otherwise, there will be warps in the drawing whenever you get it in. So the next thing that I'm going to do, oh boy, is I'm going to come over to my computer. Don't mind all the stuff on my desk. And I'm going to, this is from my Bristol sketchbook, so I'm going to preview. And it's going to take a minute to do a little preview scan. I will say this isn't the fastest scanner either, but that's okay because I know what I paid for it and it's done really well for me so far. And now I know what I want in like my next scanner that I buy. I'm going to expand this to the top. No, I'm going to expand this all the way to the edge. Okay, up at the top, a bit warped. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get another heavy notebook or something. What do I got? It's not heavy enough. This watercolor notebook, paper pad, whatever. Yeah. Just to weigh it down a little bit more, make sure everything's going to go good. And now I'm going to hit preview again. There was like a slight grayness up here at the top. So I'm trying to, not have that in my final scan. I want it to be as white as possible. That's a little better. I'll work with it. So another thing you can do with this scanner is you can rotate your scan. And this will change the direction of it, of course. You know what rotating is, I'm assuming. Now here's the fun part. This scanner gives you a lot of options over here on the left of what you can do for your scan. I normally just leave it with this auto exposure. Document is not as accurate as photo, so I don't change that. You can choose the type of color you want. I guess black and white would be good if you had to scan documents. But then the resolution. This is the most important part for art. You never want to scan artwork below 300 dpi. I believe it stands for dots per inch. I could be wrong about that. But I always scan it at 600 because that's a higher quality. It does take up more memory, but I'm okay with that. Document size right here. If you know exactly how big your art is, then you can just type that in and then move the dotted lines around to where you want it to be. Target size original. All of these adjustments, I don't know what they are. I've just left them at this. If you know more about like scanning and stuff, you could definitely do more. So now I'm going to come down. Oh, yes. Now I'm going to come down here, hit scan. And then it'll give you some options on where you can save your file. So right now it's got my Bristol sketchbook selected. I'm going to go in. I'm just going to select artwork scans and OK. And then the image format type. Oh, I don't want this prefix. I'm just going to do image. I don't know what my last one that I did was. Yeah, so now I'm at image number 67. I'm going to save this one as a JPEG. And then I'm going to rescan it as a TIFF. These are options for JPEG, whatever. I'm not going to mess with that. And over here, you can select what type of thing you want to save. You can say scan a PDF, TIFF, JPEG. Those are the only ones I really know and really use. I'm just going to hit OK. And now the scan is going to start. It does take a while because I have a higher DPI selected. That's okay. We'll just sit here and wait for a sec. I've already noticed something that's going to bother me, but let me show you what I do after pretty much every single scan. But yeah, that's on the board, on the paper. So after every single scan, I always double check my work. I double check to make sure there's no smudges. I make sure everything's clear. I make sure nothing's blurry. The smudges are probably a really common issue because, you know, like dust gets on the glass. So you want to make sure there's no dust on the glass. That's why I cleaned it first with a little cloth. But now I'm going to go in, and once I get the final scan, I'm going to look at it in detail. So here's the scan. It does look a little bit darker than reality, but that's okay. What I do notice is I'll double click just to zoom in. I see this smudge here. I need to go in and fix that, erase it, and rescan it. Oh, there's a lot of texture on here. What I like about this scanner is you can see the texture of the paper. That's really great for when I'm scanning watercolor and stuff. So right now I'm just scrolling around, making sure everything looks good. Okay, so there's a little smudge right above the end of my pumpkin. On here? It's not on here. It is. Oh, this is dusty. You know, normally you probably shouldn't just be using your fingers to wipe stuff off of paper. It gets oils and whatnot on it, but this piece is done. I don't have to worry about that, really. All right, now that it's all cleaned up, I'm gonna rescan it. I'm not gonna redo the preview, I'm just gonna rescan it. Sometimes I'll just batch a whole bunch of drawings that I need to scan at one time, so then I'm sitting here like watching a show and scanning, going back and forth. It doesn't require a whole lot of brain power. I'll also say that in order to clean this glass screen, sometimes I do use like a lens wipe, like a moist one. But it's a very sensitive glass. You don't want to use like paper towels or tissues or anything on that because it will scratch it. Okay, so now we have this newer scan. Zoom in, you can see the marks are gone. I got rid of a lot of the marks. I'm just scrolling around. Yeah, these bad boys are locked in. I should have erased like the background of this before I sprayed it, but that's okay. You know, we live and we learn. So now that I have the JPEG, now I'm going to delete the old one. So first of all, I have more space, and second of all, I don't accidentally submit the wrong one. Now I'm gonna go back to the scanning screen. I'm gonna do basically everything the same. I'm just gonna click scan down here. Only difference is I'm going to select if. This way the image won't be compressed or anything, and it's going to take a long time to scan, much longer than a JPEG. Yeah. So now it's done scanning. I'm just gonna go in and double check, you know, for marks and spots and stuff. Looks pretty good to me. All right, that's it. I'm done. Pretty quick, pretty easy. Not a whole lot of things to remember, honestly. I like this scanner. I would definitely recommend it as a beginner scanner. I won't say that it's like top of the line or anything, but it's better than using a scanner built in on most printers. And it's done what I needed to do for a relatively cheap price, just $100. If you look online, there's a lot of like really super duper professional scanners. But if you don't know if you're going to be doing art that large, or if you're going to be doing art super professionally for very long, or if you're just getting started and you're like, I think I need a scanner, this is one I would definitely recommend. Also, super important, but I did update my website. So I have a whole bunch of paintings that are now on sale. I've uploaded a new digital scan library of my last sketchbook, a Bristol travel sketchbook. There's some really beautiful drawings in there. And for $3, you can go look at all of them. I scanned every page, almost. No, I didn't. That's a lie. I scanned a lot of the good pages. I hope that this walkthrough was useful for you. I hope you learned something, and I hope that if you're looking for a scanner, this helps you decide. Have a good one.